Welcome all to the SnailTrail4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun in Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how great Florida is in Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler. Joining me for another episode today of the SnailTrail4x4 podcast on a lovely Monday is Mr. Lovely Jet. How are you doing, Lovely?
Good. Thanks. I thought you were going to say Jeep and Jimmy because that'd be more fitting for this podcast.
They accept all vehicles.
Okay.
Are we? I'm not wearing my Cruise Moab shirt today. I just realized you're wearing a Cruise Moab shirt and I thought I was wearing mine.
Nope. Sorry.
All right. We're not that well coordinated.
Nope. You didn't call me this morning.
I know. I'm sorry.
Too funny.
Anyways, so we're here on a Monday.
Monday it is.
Really fun interview for you guys today. There's a new-ish challenge going on in Florida. So we're going to dive into kind of what this new challenge is and what all they got going on. It's actually a really cool take on how to do kind of an off-road competition, I think.
Yeah, I like it. I like the sound of it, and we'll get more into that in a little bit.
Yep.
We have a few things to discuss before we get there.
We do. Mm-hmm.
And one of them is reviews. Reviews.
We have some.
We have a bunch of reviews. Mm-hmm. We have, we were
760, I think, last Thursday.
760-ish. We were around there.
Mm-hmm.
But once we get to 800 reviews, we are giving away an Onyx Elite membership.
Mm-hmm.
So all you need to go over to Apple Podcast, leave a review for SnailTrail4x4, and that automatically enters you for eligibility to win an Onyx Elite membership.
Yay.
Just that easy.
Yep. And it's pretty cool. They will tack it on to, if you already have a subscription to Onyx, they just kind of tack it on to your already existing subscription. So if you still have like 6 months left on your subscription, they tack it on. So you're going to have a year and 6 months left. So pretty sweet the way they do it. And they're doing some really cool stuff in the off-road industry. We've talked a lot about things that have happened recently, and there's more on the to-do list for them. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, talk a little bit about their trail revival program, because that's kind of goes into some of the topics that we were talking about today.
It does, for sure. So the trail revival program that Onyx has is essentially they've teamed up with Toyota USA to have together this pool of money that you can apply for grants from. And these grants are going towards trail maintenance projects. So you, your club, your group of friends, your organization, your Facebook group page, whatever it is, needs to have a project that they're specifically working on in order to maintain a trail somewhere. And so you can apply, and they'll send out some money to help with pay for tools, help pay for food, help pay for any kind of resources you may need that day to get volunteers, entice volunteers to come out and help with the program, or to get whatever infrastructure resources you need to accomplish this trail maintenance project. So it's a pretty rad program they're doing, them in Toyota USA. I don't know how long the funds are going to be there. I don't know if it's a recurring thing that they pay into this pool, or if like once the pool runs out of money, they're done, then the trail revival program's over. My guess is it will lean a lot on how much the word gets out there that Onyx and Toyota USA are doing this program. And, you know, obviously it's branding for them. It shows that they are both very interested in maintaining trails, keeping trails open, the sustainability of trails for people, for the public, for generations to come. So the more that word gets out there, the more that they would continue the program.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like what we do here on SnailTrail4x4, where, you know, for our monthly giveaways, we talk to companies to get you guys, the listeners, deals for discount codes, for free product, for a giveaway. As long as you guys are then going back and spending money and at least looking into the companies when you're like, hey, I need a new camp light. Maybe I should go check out Devos. Or, hey, I need some tools. Maybe I'll go check out Gear Wrench. Or, hey, I'm looking at new suspension parts. Maybe I'll go look at what 4 Wheel Underground has in their a la carte stuff all the time now. As long as you guys are all going back and we're all helping each other out, that's really the name of the game. So Onyx and Toyota put together this money for us to use. So use the money, but also make sure that we're giving back so that they see the cool things that's happening with the money and they'll continue the program.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. Make sure to tag the people that you are helping one way or another.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Also, the other thing that you did kind of hint on is our monthly giveaway. We do have a monthly giveaway going on this month. The best way to go and sign up for the monthly giveaway is to go over to irate4x4. Scroll down to the watch, listen, and discuss section. So click on SnailTrail4x4 podcast, and then your sign up options will be right there for the giveaway tier. That all said, we don't have official confirmation for this month's giveaway right now. Yeah. We have, the company has told us that they're down to do the interview and they're down to give us a discount code, but hasn't confirmed a giveaway item. So before we announce anything, we want to confirm that we actually are going to be getting an item.
Yeah.
So we got to hold off for another week. I apologize for that. But it's, hey, they're not getting their 1 week of fame.
Yep. If they don't step up, then you guys might have an opportunity to win a half full bottle from Jimmy's whiskey store. So I'm just kidding.
I'll make an infinity bottle for you. Yeah. No, we'll find something fun. Whether it comes out from SnailTrail4x4's bank or we actually can partner with a cool company. Yeah. We will definitely have a product for you guys here because you guys support us and we want to give back to you guys. So we do appreciate that. The 100-ish members that we have on our snail squad. It's really cool.
Yep. Let's see. Anything else? We did get and let everybody know last Thursday, but we have the winner from the Yokohama tires.
Yeah, that's true.
Alex Montgomery, who is A13X, which makes sense now that we had that pointed out to us. So Alex Montgomery, who is Beer Andy's son. So congratulations to Alex for winning a set of tires. I'm pretty sure he has his own rig, right? Or is he old? Yeah.
He's got a 4Runner.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Posted, he linked a tagged SnailTrail4x4. He was replacing the brakes the other day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So he got some tires. Well, he hasn't received them yet, but he is the winner. We had that tire giveaway going on for quite a while. So it's pretty cool to see all the traction. And we've gotten a lot of chances to talk about Yokohama tires now. We've actually had a few people reaching out about Yokohama tires in the past a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So with questions about specific tires or recommendations on what this person should be using. So pretty cool. They're doing it. They make a great tire. They're making a lot of headway in the off-road space. They're trying to focus a little bit more on the off-road space. They've always been big in sedans, big in the racing world.
Yeah. The
rally sport world as well. And so for them to be now kind of focusing and pushing more headway into the off-road space, it's cool to see them coming over finally. So
it's a win-win for sure.
Yeah.
We are getting rad tires and they're making sales.
Yeah. Right. Cool. I don't think there's anything else. No. Should we jump into the interview today?
I think we should.
Cool. Everybody grab your favorite drinks. We've got a fun interview here about the Florida Trail Team Challenge, which is a relatively new in the grand scheme of off-road events, off-road competitions, kind of a new competition that's out around on the map. And I really like the structure of this and how it's set up and kind of the way that Marc's brain works.
Yeah. So you got a very fine-tuned brain in that ADHD mind of his. Yeah. But if you are participating in the Trail Team Challenge, you're getting an insight onto how Marc thinks and works. And I think that might give you a small leg up on the challenge.
Yep. So we'll take a quick break. We'll hear a little bit from Brian over at 4 Wheel Underground and some of the cool stuff that he's got going on. And then we'll be right on back with Marc from the Florida Trail Team Challenge.
At 4 Wheel Underground, we have something for everyone's 79 through 04 Toyota vehicle. Whether you've got a Chevy Dana 60, 05 and up Super Duty, fabricated, FJ80, or mini truck axles, we got you covered. 3-link, 4-link, parallel, and triangulated suspension kits. We've got you covered. Under-bed coilover mounts, through-bed coilover mounts, trailing arms, cantilevers, custom-tuned coilovers, and air bumps. We've got you covered. Frame stiffeners, subframes, skid plates, shock towers, and more to come. Make sure to use coupon code SnailTrail at 4wheelunderground.com because we've got you covered.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to today's campfire discussion. We have a fun topic here today with Marc. Marc Lawson here is live on the line in our virtual studio with us all the way from Florida, which is pretty cool. I know have we had a big interview from Florida?
I don't think
that
so.
Side of
we
the
do
States
have
yet?
some Floridian listeners, constant listeners that will reach out to us, and we try not to associate with them very much, but they keep calling back. I don't understand. Yeah.
So we got Marc here. Marc is from the Florida Trail Team Challenge, which from everything we've read and kind of looked into, it sounds like a really fun event. So we're going to dive into this event here with you guys today. And who better to have here talking about it than the guy, the brainchild of it all, Marc. So Marc, how the hell are you, man?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming on today and carving out hopefully the only 4 hours in your day to do the interview. So I'm just kidding. It's not going to be that long. So hopefully not. I don't know. We can talk for a while. We have a challenge going on, and this challenge is happening in middle of October. Is that correct?
It is beginning of October, actually, the 3rd through the 5th. Yep.
Okay. Sweet. So the 3rd through the 5th of October happening in Florida, and it's all centered around actually a kind of a myriad of challenges that you set out. You come up with, I guess you and your team, but mainly you come up with and challenge people to do certain things that can be categorized down to different skills that are kind of pretty necessary skills for outdoor recreation, vehicular recreation in general. Tell us a little bit about the Florida Trail Team Challenge, what this thing is, and we'll get into some of the more finer details.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hit it right on the head. It is a skills competition. So kind of looking to see if you've got the skills to be ultimately a well-rounded outdoors off-roader. And we put everything to the test. So we kind of break it down into about 7 different categories. So navigation, recovery, like medical first aid, marksmanship, survival, precision driving. So within those, 7 different categories, we come up with about 45 different challenges to test you and see how well you do. And then for each challenge, you get a certain amount of points, right? So like marksmanship would be like a breakdown of points on how well you did, but other things may be timed. And then depending on how fast you do it versus the other teams, you would get, the most points for being first place in that specific challenge. And then the points kind of taper off after that.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. So are people traveling while they're doing these challenges, or is it more of a like they're going to a location and doing all these challenges at this location?
So we actually give them a list of coordinates with the that have the challenges at them. So they get a sheet Saturday morning that'll have 15 challenges. Then Saturday around noon, they come back, meet up, gives us a chance to make sure everybody's accounted for. Everybody's medically still good to go. Nobody's been injured and just not kind of telling us and sucking it up. And then they're given another set for that afternoon. And then Sunday morning when they wake up, they get another 15. And yes, they have to go find these challenges. And that's tying back into the navigation stuff.
Got it.
Fascinating. This is getting interesting. So, okay, give us some examples. You list off a bunch of categories of challenges. So that like going around to different coordinates. I know for like the Rebel Rally, you're not allowed to use technology. They actually take your technology from you, your mobile devices, etc. Is that how much technology do people get to use for the navigation part? Can they just pop the GPS coordinates into Onyx and show up at this location?
Yeah, and we're not trying to create a fictitious, atmosphere. We're really trying to bring in exactly what you're already doing out and about. So we don't have a, Onyx isn't like the premier one and you have to use Onyx, right? So whatever you use, you can bring. The only thing that we recommend is that within the wildlife management area here in Florida, they recommend Avenza. So that's where their most recent map is uploaded to. So I say you can use anything you want. You do have to have Avenza updated in the background. And for anybody who's listening who participates or has anything to do with those apps that are out there, you can go on many of these big name apps and there are trails that are listed that are no longer active in wildlife management areas, right? So that's the problem is they use certain apps. And again, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but and they'll be on what used to be a trail and it hasn't been open for 5 years, but it's still on the said app.
Gotcha.
So again, we do let them use it, but we tell them, hey, you have to follow all the rules. I'm a Tread Lightly trainer.
Yep.
We're big, proponents of Tread Lightly. Our state rep is there. A lot of what we do, all the volunteers, all the challengers take the Tread Lightly 101 course. So we are not trying to get in trouble while we're out there.
Mm-hmm.
So basically having Avenza on the background has to be there all the time so that you can reference, because Avenza is the most accurate for where we host our competition.
Got it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think of that being an issue, because you think of one of the big reasons of using all the different off-road mapping softwares out there is that you have an accurate GPS track of whatever trail you're going on so that you stay on trail. But that didn't occur to me that they may not be up to date and that the trails they have on there may be closed with recent-ish closures and just not updating and keeping the database updated correctly. So
yeah, and that's a big thing apart from me being a Tread Lightly person and a trainer is, not necessarily telling everybody, here's the rules, you need to follow them. It's more being a voice for the off-roader and a part of Tread Lightly to make things, progress happen within the community. So this is the first year our event is at the same location. We've actually moved it every year, partly because we're losing a lot of off-roading areas in Florida, privately owned and public. But last year went so smooth that we're doing it again in the same location this year, which is the Withlacoochee Wildlife Management Area. But we also try to give back in the Trail Team Challenge. So last year was a long process where we actually worked with the state to get kiosks built by prisoners actually in Tallahassee. We got signs printed up that was funded by Tread Lightly and also the Florida Off-Road Foundation, and we tied that in. So 3 of the challenges during the weekend were actually installing kiosks for the wildlife management area to be able to give back. And so, on the back end, we did a lot of the work and the planning. And then we actually had one that was in Croom, and that was our test dummy before the event. So come Trail Team Challenge time, we had the lift, we had the volunteers were already familiar. So as the challengers just showed up periodically throughout the day, we got 3 of those knocked out in the weekend and they were done. So that was awesome. And that there has QR codes that tell you to go to Avenza. Here's where you're going to find the most current updated trails before you even enter the forest, which I think is a huge win.
yeah, no, that's really cool. So is that essentially part of like a construction or mechanical skills challenge?
It is.
Yeah.
So, my opening to Tread Lightly was at a very similar event where I got a lot of my ideas for the Trail Team Challenge, which was the 36 hours of Uwharrie in North Carolina.
Okay.
We were actually doing a similar project during that time where some off-roaders were starting to make a new trail and they were putting telephone poles in and boards and trying to, keep people on the correct path. And same thing, that event, that was their way through Tread Lightly to give them manpower to build back and do that. And so again, we did that last year, which it just kind of came up. It was a project that took about 3 years to get from start to finish, and literally was coming down to a couple meetings with the state people, the Florida Off-Road Foundation and Tread Lightly. And it was like, okay, well, we've got them. The signs are printed. Where are we putting them? And who's going to do it? And I was like, slowly raised my hand, like, how about we have all the challengers do it in our event? That way we can give back. And it just worked out perfect.
Nice.
That's so cool.
That's really great. I think it's awesome that you're incorporating a lot of the aspects of giving back to the community, keeping the off-road spirit alive, and involving some of the state legislatures or state committee people that know you're doing this for them and you're a part of it and that you're out there and helping out, because that's really putting, you're in front of their faces or in front of their eyes or however you want to say that. And it's bringing awareness that, the off-roaders are actually doing a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's cool. You definitely on the website, there's a lot of talk about Tread Lightly and how ingrained the FTTC is with Tread Lightly. Is that something, have you just always been involved with Tread Lightly? Were you involved with Tread Lightly first, or was this a partnership that's really come about because of meeting goals? People, both organizations, you guys and Tread Lightly, have similar common goals and mentality.
Yeah, I think the stars just kind of align themselves. Like I said, after UARI, I then found out about the organization. They had representatives from Tread Lightly, Danielle, who is now one of their execs. I got to meet her, got to know her, and just kind of stayed in contact and would see each other at, events as I would travel around the country off-roading and whatnot. And then a gentleman here in town, who's funny enough, happens to be a groundskeeper at a golf course. I discussed the Tread Lightly program with him, and Don Cox is his name, and he took it and ran with it.
Wow.
He was actually like Ambassador of the Year 2 years ago, I believe. He's teaching classes. He's at every event in the state of Florida, bringing awareness. So Don kind of took off and ran with it. And, being close to Don, more networking came back from Tread Lightly. And the one thing I noticed first with the organization, that it is very, I guess you could say it's bigger on the West Coast. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of stuff in the East, and not a lot in the Southeast, honestly. So, even having those conversations with Tread Lightly initially, it was like, hey, like, what kind of staff? Who do we report to? Who do we talk to? And it was like, well, we're more of a tool for whatever clubs, communities want to use us. We can get involved and help, whether it's funding or contacts with the big sponsors like Can-Am is involved with them. So then it just kind of opened, and then when I was doing my event, obviously I wanted it to have Tread Lightly involved. I became a tread trainer, and it does, it does go back to just, we're losing our property. We're losing the land. We're losing where we can go. I'm an avid hunter. I'm an avid outdoorsman. So, I hate to see when the hunters get disrupted. I hate to see when, the campers lose their spots. It's just kind of all around. It just sucks at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So what can you do? I mean, the biggest thing is be a role model, right? So being leadership in various clubs and communities in Florida, it's like, hey, we're not allowing these pictures to go up. By the way, that's where you're not supposed to be. We all know it. So, hey, if you're going to be in this group, we can't have that happening,
Good for you.
And it's like, when you go out, you're running Trail Team Challenge across your Jeep and you show up on a camera somewhere. That is not, and now that I've got that relationship built, they were really worried about our event last year. We had to submit this whole plan to them on where we were going to be, what we were going to be doing. And the bird watchers, the butterfly watchers, the tree huggers, the snail people, I mean, you name it, got to approve our event or decline our event.
Oh, wow.
Now,
interesting.
Now, my question is, well, where was my seat at that table when they want to do what they want to do?
Exactly.
Though?
So now, that's like, now you're like, okay, now they've okayed my event. Now I get to okay all their events, right? And,
right. So that's another part of being Tread Lightly, is being another seat at that table. Mm-hmm. And honestly, trying to do this event within the state to get a hold of anybody was not going very well. Until literally I was on that phone call to these kiosks, and literally, okay, guys, let's, kiosks are great. Click. I called right back. Hey, so I'm Marc with the Trail Team Challenge. Oh, you were the one just on the phone call? Yes. Yeah. I've been emailing for 3 months about hosting an event. Can we talk? And then whoop, we got right in. And, after last year's event, we've got trackers. We got a company that sponsors us for kind of like commercial trackers, but every vehicle in this competition is tracked. Oh, cool. where there's parameters set. Mm-hmm. And one of the teams gave me some kickback last year, like, oh, your big brother. I said, no. I'm protecting us.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Because if you go through the forest and they say, oh, the Trail Team Challenge guys were flying around, I can go, oh yeah, at what time, where? Yeah, no, here's their current speed at that exact time, right? So I could know that we were good. Also, too, something medically happens, I know exactly where to go to get to them or send people to. But, Monday morning, it was interesting. I think it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. The head lady from the place called me, and I'm just like, oh crap, 8 a.m. on a Monday. Like what happened that I didn't know about? Because everything, went flawless. And I'm like, what did they not say? And I pick up the phone and she's like, hey, how'd everything go? And I'm like, good. You tell me. And she was like, no, we heard a lot of great things. We had people out and about that said everybody was awesome. Great. You guys left everything amazing. Like breath of fresh air to have an off-road event, not damage, not tear up, be supportive, give back. Like we love it. Like, let's continue this relationship. So that was awesome.
That's pretty cool. Cause it's definitely, that's not the image that we have with land managers across the country. And everybody, we talk about it a lot on the podcast, but if you own an off-road vehicle, it's kind of like if you own a gun, you're now labeled a gun owner, right? If you own an off-road vehicle, you are labeled, you're part of this community now, whether you want to or not, you're a part of it. You have this label as an off-roader, and land managers have a specific image in their heads of what it is to deal with an off-roader. And it's really cool to see that it's by your group as an example. And I think we're seeing a little bit of a swing starting to happen where that's not necessarily the case anymore. And it's because of groups like you that are doing this and then telling everybody about how you're doing it, sharing the stories with everybody. I hope that information is spreading to land managers everywhere to realize that that's not the image they should be having of us. So.
Right. Absolutely. And the other thing too is, like, I'm personally am a Jeep guy. I own a shop. I build Jeeps. I customize Jeeps, but our event is open to any vehicle, any mid-size 4x4.
Nice.
So we've got Frontiers, Xteras, we've got Tacomas, we've got FJs, we've got 4Runners, and we have Jeeps as well. So it's not just the Jeep community damaging the woods. It's, we're a good mix of off-roaders from Florida and out of state. We've had teams from Georgia, New York, Virginia. I think we have a team coming from Kentucky this year. So hopefully it does spread positivity and we keep making progress.
Yeah. How extreme are the challenges? Like you're talking about all the wide breadth of people and vehicles coming into these events, because not all your challenges are just specifically vehicle based. I mean, you have a driving skills one, precision driving, but you also have marksmanship and first aid stuff. Like do you get a lot of people that just are really bad at some of these challenges, or is everybody coming in pretty well prepared?
So a lot of people kind of don't know what to expect, honestly. It's something where you either come in and you love it and want to get more of it, and you're beat by the time you go home, or you go like, holy smokes, this is not me at all. But we really haven't had that, honestly, because the type of people, I mean, now that we've got podcasts like y'all's, it's going out there, there's more information. The first couple of years, they had no idea. They're like, we're just going off-roading. Well, they're going to throw stuff at us. We'll do the best we can. But now we just kind of see that the type of people that are competing are the type of people, when you're off-roading and you're outdoors, they're going to be the type of people that'll give you the shirt off their back. They're the type that aren't going to leave you behind when something goes wrong. They're going to be right there in next to you, grabbing wrenches, helping you, to get you back home, is really the group. And the background of people that compete are kind of very diverse. A lot of military veteran, first responder type. Last year we had 2 husband and wife teams. We had a brother team. We've had teams of friends. We've had all women teams compete. So very diverse vehicles and backgrounds of competitors. And then again, these are the type of people who, even if they pull up to a challenge where they don't know or they're unsure, they're going to figure it out, right? They're going to compete. They're going to try to do their best. And then they just chalk it up and move on to the next one.
It seems when you're telling me about all these things, I'm only thinking about how I can punk my friends. And that would be the challenges, right? Like one morning you just pull everybody's valve cores and, you just like, they have to figure out why their tires are flat or something, and they just try to figure it out and then they move along down the road. Is it that, or is it more like structured?
I think just because you said that, and maybe I don't know if this podcast will be out before the event, but I think I want to pull everybody's valve cores on Saturday morning.
We'll see how many people listen.
No, I mean, again, we do try to be realistic, but yeah, I mean, a lot of the challenges come from experiences that I've had or experiences that I've heard of. And then we also have a phenomenal list of sponsors. I don't know if you guys have gotten to see like Adams Drive Shaft, Moreflate, PRP, Speed Strap. I mean, just the list goes on and on of companies that are involved. Like Pull Pal last year was involved. Glue Tread was involved. So imagine if Glue Tread's involved. You guys familiar with them?
Oh, yeah.
You know what they do. So there's probably going to be a Glue Tread type challenge, right?
Yeah, you're just walking around with a knife, stabbing people's tires.
Yeah. So, Pull Pal's involved. So you might want to look up Pull Pal and see what they're about, right? Adams Drive Shafts. You might want to be familiar with drive shaft, problems and issues and things. Not to say Adams is a bad drive shaft, but If there's a drive shaft company, there's probably going to be something. And that's part of, giving back. And I hate sponsorship word because really it's a partnership, right? We try to get things that will give us ideas to incorporate into the challenge that also give them some content, because it's not, an arena bowl where everybody's sitting there watching. You've got an entire wildlife management area that is spread out and teams are everywhere. So we do heavily rely on social media, photos, uploads, tags for all the businesses to get it out there, but we don't damage anybody's tires, right? So we're not slashing anybody's tires purposely.
Yeah.
Pulling a valve stem's different though. I'm serious. I really like that. I hope nobody sees this.
I'll just have like a solid burn.
Yeah, exactly. So like for the glue tread, I bring a couple tires. The volunteers out there have the tires, and it probably had, 20 punctures in the tire.
Yeah.
But that would be something. A drive shaft, I wouldn't make them remove a drive shaft. I'd have one laying there with a series of U-joints for them, to be able to work with and do whatever with. So some of it is simulated. Some of it is actually doing things to their vehicle. Mechanical wise, my dad has a TJ that he paid about $1,000 for, an older Wrangler. So he usually ends up being the mechanical challenge, right? Just because it's so easy to pop his hood and undo a bunch of stuff and say, figure it out. And it's not really going to damage. He can still get home.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we do a lot of simulation, not really damaging anybody's stuff on purpose. You can do that. We have had people break things, do things, but that's all been on their self. We don't want anybody to flood their motor during our event, snap an axle shaft during our event. We don't try to damage anybody's vehicle during our stuff.
Is there some level of, if you come across another participant that is damaged, broken, or slowed down one way or another, is there like helping points? Like I stopped and I helped these people fix this and then you continue on?
No, we haven't really ran into that. We have had some teams break 2 years ago. Last year, nobody actually broke. That was the first year. So this is our fourth year doing it.
Yeah.
The third year, nobody broke. The second year, someone snapped a truss on it. They had a 4-linked front end and the truss came apart.
Wow.
Jeez.
And then the first year, somebody was going quicker than they should have been on the private property and clipped a tree and broke their sector shaft. But nothing, and again, that was just while they were driving in between challenges.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're more than welcome. I mean, that's the whole mindset. We hope that you're going to help. We really don't have it set up to give out any points for that. But
Is there necessarily a speed challenge, like get through all these things fast enough or at a certain point? Or because you were saying they go out in the morning, they have 15 challenges, they come back, they reset, and then you send them back out for 15 more challenges. Is it a matter of who comes back first with the completion of the 15 challenges, or is it how well you did at all the challenges?
How well you did at all the challenges. Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
Makes sense. I think, do you do all types of marksmanship? Like, is it strictly firearms or is it bow and arrows?
Or atlatl?
So this is where it's tough, right? Explaining the event. I can't give away all the ideas, right?
Oh, sure.
I can tell you in the past, we've done pistol, rifle, axe, knife, BB gun, and I think last year they did slingshot as well.
So it's a myriad of all the different types. Yeah.
Yeah. Like even through 2 years ago, that show Forged in Fire.
Yep.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
One of the local Jeep guys was actually on that show and did very well.
Huh.
So it was his idea to do axe throwing and knife throwing. He made the axes. He made the knives.
Oh, wow.
And then as a part of the awards, he gave away a custom set of knives to the first place team.
That's pretty cool.
Really neat.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the show Top Shot?
Yep.
Yeah. That's kind of what I picture. Whenever somebody says a marksmanship competition, I'm like, well, that could be anything with a projectile. So it's like, so I was curious if you are incorporating some of the ideas from that show too. So,
I probably could watch that, being that it's in the wildlife management area.
Yeah.
I can't really do too much. I mean, like the slingshot I could do right over there, but this year we had to tap into a very nice range that is local. I'm talking like SWAT, FBI, like these guys train at this facility.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like a mini bash pro shop. It was so nice. So we actually tapped into them last year. So we'll see what we do this year. is already in the works, but
I'm sure they have some fun ideas too.
Yeah, and their facilities are phenomenal. Like I get excited for that. Like I'm a big gun guy, so I'm like, I want to go hang over there. Of course, I never make it to that. It's actually a little bit away, but that was the thing too, is when they're putting all these coordinates in and they see this one is way up here in the corner, they're a little less likely to go to that one. And I'm like, no, you don't understand how much I had to pay. Go to that one, please. So like, I gotta
go to that one first and work your way back.
Yeah, and I gotta find a way to give like bonus points for this one. But then again, too, I can't tell all 20 teams to go there, because then it's like 20 teams show up. Because for them, like, you got to watch a safety video, you got to give them your ID. We got to still follow the law and the rules on everything, and in their rules that they have, we have to respect that. So, but yeah, we do plenty of marksmanship every year.
Got it.
And it constantly changes. And that's the interesting. This is the first time we've done it again at the location 2 years in a row. So teams that competed last year may have a little advantage, just kind of understanding the layout, but it'll still be good.
That's great. So if in the morning when somebody goes out for the 15 opportunities or challenges that are out there, and then you have them come back around noon, to me that the 15 challenges sounds like a lot of challenges to get done before noon. Is it a matter of how many you can get completed, or do you expect most people to get through 5 and then they come back, or how does that work?
So, yeah, I mean, I've got a really good way of, tracking points, and I do with my staff, we do a kind of debrief after the event and sit down and see. And again, this is going to be even better this year because we've had less variables, right? I mean, moving parks completely just changes everything, right? Yeah. So we're still putting challenges in different areas, different, some of the stuff may be similar, but in a different area, and doing precision driving, it's going to be completely different. Still precision driving, but at the end of the day, it's just total points. So, I can have 45 challenges, but if all the teams only do 20, whoever gets the most points out of those 20 is it. I will say that we have never had one team complete all 45 challenges. And yes, the first session, that Saturday AM, is usually the least productive one because people are still figuring it out. They're still, the coordinates, got
to figure out the lay of the land,
Yeah. Right. And in the past, when the properties were smaller, I gave them the coordinates. Here you go. Goodbye. Have a good day. Whereas last year, I actually gave it to them the night before because I don't want them to not go to stuff, right? Like I've got volunteers sitting out here. Please go to them, Yeah. So I do want them. So like last year, because the property was 3 times bigger, I mean, we're talking 45 minutes corner to corner in the wildlife management area. So I gave it to them the night before. That gave them plenty of time to figure it out. In years past, some people struggled with coordinates, which I really never understood because we talked about it so much.
Yeah.
So then what I've also incorporated now is where I tell them the truck and trailer parking is, because some teams trailer in, right? I give it to them by coordinates. Hey, here's the event check-in is given to them by coordinates. So you can't get the truck and trailer and you can't get the, it kind of weeds that out. Yeah. I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear Saturday morning. I don't know how to use Onyx. Like you guys, you paid to enter this. Like we've got a Facebook group of all the teams and everybody's talking and chattering. And you want to show up and you don't know how to go anywhere. So we've evolved in our years as well. And that's, a big thing is trying to make it bigger and better every year. And technology helps with that. Having the same location 2 years in a row is going to make that a little bit better. So.
Got it. Do you mark or identify what the tasks are at each coordinate, or is it like you just show up and you get surprised?
They show up and get surprised because the same thing, if we load up and we go off-roading, we don't know we're going to slash a sidewall.
Sure.
We don't know that our U-joint's going to give out on us on our drive shaft. We don't know that.
Yeah.
We don't know that we're going to be out in the woods and somebody's going to flag us down and say their hiking buddy just broke their ankle, hiking in this cave. Can you help me get them out? Yeah. We don't know that.
Sure. You're like, oh, this guy wants me to install a transmission. Let's go to the next coordinate.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And do you know what an AX-15 is? I don't know. Let's go.
Yeah. Ring and pinion change? We're going on to the broken ankle.
Yeah. Right. And that was the big difference between, the 36 hours URI that I used to compete at, is we had a book of what everything was. And I started to notice like people were cherry picking the easy stuff. And I'm like, whereas me, I put it in the coordinates and I'm like, all right, let's go this route. Boom, 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 boom. And we just did them, So yeah, we don't tell them because you don't know what's going to happen when you're out there.
Yeah. It's a 100% true.
Yeah.
And we've all lived that lesson, I think.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because you'll see some of the rookie teams, we'll call them, will show up. I mean, just stuff hanging off their rig, right? And then a lot of teams will compete multiple years. They come back the next year and we're like, man, where's all that stuff from last year? They're like, nah, we've got it dialed in. Now we're good. Like, they've figured it out. And a lot of it is creativity. And it takes about 70 volunteers plus to do this event, because you've got 2 people out at every challenge. We've got a medical staff. We've got a whole media team that's going around taking videos, pictures, and whatnot. And, the volunteers, it was kind of hard initially because they're like, man, I'm new to this. I want to help. It sounds exciting. But I tell them, I say, listen, when these teams get to you, you're reading a script and you're most likely timing them and you're looking for safety issues. And safety is always the first thing. If you see something you even question, stop, get away from the vehicle or whatever, put that down, whatever, like, hey, let's address this. And then we can continue on. Right. So to see 20 different teams potentially do something maybe 20 different ways or at least 10 different ways, the volunteers leave the event going, man, I just learned so much. Like, I saw this team pull out this tool that I didn't even know existed, and they changed the U-joint in 2 minutes, right? Like, I want that tool. Where did you get that from?
Right.
Yeah.
So the volunteers walk away with learning a lot, having a lot of fun. I mean, the stories and the stuff that come out of it, or that I hear back at camp at the volunteers at night, is fun. And most of our volunteers keep coming back and trying to pull other people into it. So, I couldn't do it without the 70 plus volunteers, man. It just wouldn't happen.
Absolutely. I was going to ask about volunteers and how you acquired volunteers, but you reminded me of a time when I volunteered. I was doing a lot of Spartan races back in the day. And I volunteer. If you volunteer at one, they give you free entry into another one. So I was volunteering and they put me on the javelin throw thing. And I was like, I suck at this. So whenever nobody was at that, I threw so many javelins. And I walked away and my shoulder was hurting, right? I was like, man, I can't even participate tomorrow. I'm broken. But now I can't miss. Like, I know, like I've learned, and because I've watched them doing it, I've practiced while I had free time. And it was a good experience because exactly like you were saying, it's like you're visualizing what everybody's doing. You're watching multiple different ways, so you're learning at it, and then you're walking away with that great experience. But anyways, back to my original question. What is there still a hard time getting volunteers, or do you have a shout out to try and get volunteers right now? Like, can people get in contact with you?
Yeah, we've got a couple more weeks. So it's the beginning of August right now. And we kind of team cutoff just happened, and we got full 20 teams August 1st. And that way, because I've got to order shirts and I've got to get merch and gear bags put together from stuff that we give out, stuff coming in from our sponsors. So we're still taking volunteers until September 1st. And then because we do pull from all over volunteers, we actually do online trainings. So we just get on, we've got a web presence. We talk about things, go over things. And again, once you do it 1 year, it's very simple. It's just changing the location or maybe the challenge you're doing, or obviously the challenge you're doing the next year, but everything is pretty similar. And if you're interested in volunteering, you can just go to our website, which is floridatrailteamchallenge.com, fill it out. It'll send an email over to our volunteer director, Casey. She'll reach out to you, get you the forms, see what days you're available, what you're interested in doing. We try to give you some kind of interest, but usually you get a variety, which is good for the volunteer too. And then we just, find out, do you need a vehicle? Do you have a 4x4 vehicle? Someone you want to be paired up with? And then also a little bit of incentive for the volunteers besides having a great weekend and meeting some awesome people. When we're talking to, our partnerships, we always say, hey, we always give prizes for first, second, and third, but we also do a volunteer raffle. Most of the volunteers are giving us their entire weekend. They're showing up Friday, which is where the challenge leads, take them to their location, mark it in their map, give them the instruments that they need for their challenges, answer any questions so that Saturday morning, they're there as soon as the teams already get released and they're good to go. And they volunteer all day Saturday, volunteer all day Sunday. And then they usually will do a volunteer raffle. So a bunch of other prizes, we'll give them a ticket and say, hey, it's just our little way to say thank you. from the sponsors and the partnerships that we have, here's some stuff. So a lot of cool prizes. I think we gave out like 40 things to volunteers last year. I don't have 70 items.
Wow.
I wish I would. So if you're interested in sponsoring or partnering up, send me some stuff. I'd love to give it back to the volunteers. But so yeah, it's just a little token to say, thank you. There is volunteers do have primitive camping on site. I take care of a big primitive camping area. Very nice brand new bathrooms that our area has. If you're a RV camper, there are hookups and stuff at another campground that is still within the park. I just don't cover that. Unfortunately, that can get pricey very quick.
Yeah.
And we're working off of entry fees and just a little bit from the Florida Off-Road Foundation. So
nice.
That's cool. So what about your background?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask.
What has led you to this point in life where you've put together this really cool challenge? It sounds like it's a lot of fun, a lot of things involved, a lot of moving things. You mentioned that you run an off-road shop. How did you get into off-roading? How'd you get into the off-road shop to start competing in the URI challenge and then get to the FTTC where you're at now?
Probably a lot of ADHD.
I'm just kidding. Right.
I'm like, oh, that's fun. Let me do that. Oh, now it's my career. Oh, now,
Yeah.
No, so I've always been outdoors. My father was a big outdoorsman. We had hunting camps growing up. We had fishing camps going up, four-wheelers, you name it. We were always outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just really enjoyed it. All the cousins were outside. We're doing stuff. My first vehicle was a Jeep. Got me involved as in my youth. I spent a lot of time in the Civil Air Patrol, which I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. It's the auxiliary of the Air Force, but they're big on like disaster relief here in Florida with all the hurricanes, emergency services. They look for downed aircraft, missing people. So when I was in that program, I was heavily involved in like the search and rescue stuff. So I was always out doing that, which was a lot of fun. Joined the military, got out, got back into Jeeping again. Was that guy that was just friends, pretty much with everybody. And my garage turned into a shop for many years. And then I had a divorce and, just kind of reset my life and always wanted to do it. And I'm like, you know what? No kids, no responsibility. Bills are at an all-time low. I can do what I want. Let me make the jump now and not look back. And that was 2018. So I own the Jeep Lab in Tampa. And I've been doing that since 2018 full time.
Wow.
And remarried and have a 4-month-old daughter who's my world. So
congrats.
Nice.
Thank you. Hopefully she'll be interested in this stuff too. If not, I'm in trouble.
Yep.
I'm already trying to build her a kid's buggy to hopefully entice her.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I just love being outdoors. I used to do fishing tournaments. I just like being outside. And I enjoy, problem solving. My parents have a Jeep. My sister has a Jeep. My aunt has a Jeep. My wife has a Jeep. So all my close friends were just always outside doing stuff. If I'm not wheeling at a park, I'm trying to volunteer at a park here local just to keep things going, just to have something for us to do, so
Totally.
But that is me.
Did you grow up in Tallahassee's North Florida, right? So
it is. That's a panhandle.
Yeah. So did you grow up? I should know that because I've literally driven the entire panhandle. All the way down to, dang it, I can't remember. It's a European name down at the Athens. No, it's a European city that's down at the very tip of the panhandle. I can't remember what it is right now. But yeah, drove all the way down there, all the way around Miami and up past Daytona and up into Savannah. So I literally have driven the whole thing. But yeah. So have you always grown up in North Florida?
So I'm in Tampa, actually. So Tampa. I have. Yeah, I'm born and raised in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
There's that much outdoor stuff. I've always pictured, I know there's a lot of recreation areas and private land and things to do out there, but is there that much land to go and do all these things in Florida?
So I'm 40 and I've been here my whole life. And in the last 25 years, stop moving to Florida, please. I've seen cow fields turn into malls. Wow. It is, we are losing it quickly. I've been a big hog hunter here these past few years. I always hunted, but a Jeep guy that I met became a very good friend. Charlie passed away, cancer, but introduced me to hog hunting, and it was a cabbage farm. And we would hunt because if we didn't get the hogs were getting a cabbage, and a farmer was calling someone else. But that was 7,500 acres. And within 3 years, it's now 3 neighborhoods and a middle school, and an elementary school. So we're having to drive Hard Rock Off-Road Park was a old quarry that had been around for motocross and off-roading for many years. It's up for sale right now for $9 million. There was somewhere in Tavares in the center of the state, Old Florida Off-Road, private property. It just got bought up for land developers. The family finally sold it for God knows how much money on pristine lake, lakefront property.
Yeah.
I mean, we're losing everything around us. I mean, now our closest little place to go even do any kind of wheeling with elevation and little test and tune when you build something is like River Rock, Georgia. We've kind of made a second home in River Rock, Georgia, because it's straight up the interstate.
Yeah.
We don't have to hit the Atlanta traffic, and it's private property, and the owner's amazing. And it's just like, hey man, come on up, and it's a good little weekend place. We leave on a Thursday, wheel Friday, Saturday, come home on a Sunday, But yeah, I mean, it's, the fishing here is amazing in Tampa. You've got the bay, so it's not all offshore like it is on the other coast where, trout, snook, redfish galore, tarpon galore here in the area. So fishing is phenomenal. There is some still, deer hunting. So that's a big thing in the wildlife management area. Last year, our event was the week before hunting season. So we did encounter, and we told them, we talked about our staff, our competitors, our volunteers. You will see hunters out scouting. It's their land just as it is ours, so there is some hunting. I mean, but it's just the way we're getting populated. You got more hunters. Everything's getting built up around everything. So even if you've got a wildlife management area, if there's subdivisions all the way around it, there's not much in there unless you're doing like those trout guys do where they stock them. They keep stocking the forest with deer. It's getting tough here in Florida for sure. Once you pass about Ocala, so Ocala down, I mean, it used to be trees for me to go from Tampa to Ocala. Now it's straight neighborhoods the whole way.
It's I as much as you say don't move there, which I fully understand. The same shit's happening here in California. It's like there's a city over by us. We're outside of Sacramento. There's a city called Folsom out by us that is supposed to expand like 100,000 people in the next 2 years or 3 years. It's insane. They're building a whole like housing track, 3 elementary schools, like a high school, all of it. And just taking over all this land out there. It's just wild. But
and our other big competitor is the mining here in Florida, which a lot of people probably don't think about that, but Mosaic going after sulfur, gypsum. I mean, if you drive south of Tampa, there's massive mountains and it's all from them digging and they're eating up the land. And I would love to find a way because there's some great obstacles out there. If you go on the satellite, if you go on the satellite and you look just a little southeast of Tampa, you'll see the drag lines and they can't do anything with the land for a certain amount of years, but then it's like the liability, like, we let people come off road. Now we're liable because it's our property for so many years. It's like, all right, well, how do we get involved in that to where, okay, maybe this area just stays as is and you just turn it over to Tread Lightly or, Florida Off-Road Foundation or something like that, But I mean, they're eating up the center of the state with that. And then in Florida, we've had a lot of stuff going on with Lake Okeechobee and the crops, cutting Lake Okeechobee off from naturally draining through the Everglades. So that's changing a lot. A lot of people like to go out in the Everglades and wheel, and now it's just so dry, so barren out there. There's not a lot of wildlife like there used to be. So I mean, Florida is changing big time. There's still beautiful springs to go to. It's nice and 4 degrees year round. So when it's 120 like it was the other day here,
oh my gosh,
going to a nice spring on the weekend is amazing. So, but there's plenty outdoors to do still here in Florida. Just got to go a little bit more north.
Yeah, one of the issues we've discussed a few times on the podcast is the fact that when you start closing things down, then there's less places for people to go. So those places get more impacted and more and more people need to learn Tread Lightly, especially if more and more people are going to be going to those locations. Do you have any advice for anybody to start learning Tread Lightly ideas or follow the program?
Absolutely. So they have a free program, a free 101 course, which is, again, something we make all the volunteers and all the challengers take, which is, just kind of the foundation to get there. Clubs, businesses can be involved as far as sponsorships within Tread Lightly. You can become a sponsor there. They do have merchandise that you can purchase that helps. But again, they're also a tool to use where if you have questions or information or contacts, there's people within the organization that can do that as well. I mean, besides the hunting, that we had last year right after our event, that also made it the biggest weekend for equestrian in the wildlife management area. So that was something that Tread Lightly, even in just the 101 course, talks about is what do you do when you come across horses in the wildlife management area. So we highlighted that before the event, during the event, and then followed up with it after to see, was there any instances? Did we have any impact? Were there any situations? But everything now is so digital and online. Yeah. They do have, kind of a chart where you can see who is over what area, whether it's state, whether it's region. As a Tread Lightly trainer and working with Don Cox, he hosts classes. And it's as simple as reaching out to someone like Don in your area and saying, hey, Don, I want to have a Tread Lightly familiarization course. Or if you see Don or a Tread Lightly person at an off-road event throughout the country, you can always go up to them and say, hey, would you be willing to come and do a class for my organization, my group, my club, whatever it is? And yes, because as a tread trainer, to stay that level and that status, we have to teach. We have to get the word out, and we have to document those classes as well. Because I call myself a tread trainer and don't teach anybody for 10 years. What's the point of that, right? Yeah. So if you come across Tread Lightly trainers in person, you can always ask them right then and there, or reach out to me. You can, message the Trail Team Challenge, message the Tampa Jeep Lab. I'll get you in contact with somebody from Tread Lightly if you need any kind of classes. But there is a lot of online stuff available to them as well.
Nice.
Sweet. Yeah, man. It sounds like you got a lot going on. I love the ADHD aspect of it, because that seems like it's a prominent thing in the off-road industry of people just always constantly going, doing and working on different things and finding their niche. And it sounds like you found a really cool niche to center around yourself or have yourself centered around it. And so it's pretty cool to hear your story, what's going on with the team challenge and everything else you kind of got going on. So thanks for taking the time to sit down and share your story with everybody today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
If people wanted to get a hold of you, you mentioned to get a hold of you with questions about Tread Lightly or Tread Lightly trainers, training, anything going on in the area. If they have questions about the Trail Team Challenge, how can they get involved? Maybe as a volunteer, etc. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
So for the event itself, we do have the website is floridatrailteamchallenge.com. You can sign up to volunteer on there. You can ask questions on there about the event. There's a way to submit just a questionnaire form. And if you want to compete in the next year, you can sign up on the website there. If you've got any kind of Jeep questions or information you need from me, the Tampa Jeep Lab on Instagram, on TikTok, I try to have a little bit of fun. And then I have a YouTube channel as well that I haven't been as active on because, again, being a small business owner, doing it all is a little tough, but all of them have the same name, the Tampa Jeep Lab, on all basically my socials. Shoot me a message. I love helping people out. That's what it's about. I mean, now TikTok is the popular thing. I'm on TikTok. A lot of it's more funny. Sometimes it's informational, but I get a lot of people like, hey man, I see you're kind of doing it all with Jeeps. I got a question about my Jeep and they're across the country. Yeah, man, sure. Take a look at this, and this, and let me know if that works, So, yeah.
Do you show any background information about the event on either of your channels, or like maybe give some insider information if they're keeping track of you, or are you kind of like hide all about the background stuff so that it's sort of an even playing field?
This is it. Podcast is about it. That's the only way stuff trickles out unless you've competed before or you volunteered. So that's one of the other things too I kind of missed talking about when we were doing the volunteer spiel is I've had people volunteer because they're a little unsure and they kind of want to feel it out. And then the next year they compete. Or I've had people that have competed and they're just like, hey, I can't do it again, whether I don't have the right partner or my vehicle's down or my back hurts or whatever it is. I want to volunteer now. So we've had a lot of that and just kind of grow almost into a little Trail Team Challenge family.
Sure. I get that. So is there anything that you want to hint at for the event coming up this year?
Tease people with?
All I can say is pay attention to who the sponsors are. I mean, that is the easiest. Our second year, the team that won was very underrated, didn't have a crazy build at all. But they told me at the end that they literally studied all of our photos and any video or content that was put out is what prepared them.
Wow.
Okay.
There you go.
There's the bombshell of the episode right there.
I mean,
And
I
learn how valve
changed it.
stems work, I guess.
Yeah. I do change the challenges, though. They're not the same every year, right? So, I mean, you may have a couple repeats, but again, if I'm doing precision driving and I've changed venues every single year or location, it's going to be completely different. I can still do precision driving, right?
Yeah,
sure.
Recovery, I can put in 50 different locations, you know, and a lot of it, again, is simulated. So I can take one area and do 5 different things in that same area and be completely different, especially if you're blindfold driving and you're having to listen to your spotter. It doesn't matter where I put you.
Got it.
True.
For sure.
I like it. Well, awesome, dude. Thanks for sitting down with us. Thanks for chatting. Looking forward to seeing all the action from the event. How soon after the event are you guys like releasing media and updates on social media channels, YouTube, etc.?
So we have a pretty solid media team of about 10 people. So we are posting pretty actively during the event. And then again, tying into the partnerships that we have with the various companies. If you go to, like I talked about Pull Pal earlier, if you're doing that Pull Pal challenge, you're tagging us, you're tagging Tread Lightly, you're tagging Florida Trail Team Challenge. Florida Off-Road Foundation, and you're probably tagging Pull Pal, because we give them media points for their social media uploads during the event.
Cool.
So again, not having that arena of every hundreds of people looking, that's what we use. So we actually give out media points to the teams, and they get so many points and they have to post it at that challenge. And it tells them in the description, hey, you have to be using the Pull Pal, engaged with the Pull Pal, with the rig and the photo to get X amount of media points. And it has to be uploaded. They show the volunteer gives them the media points, and those photos are going up during the entire event.
Very cool. I like that aspect. That's really neat. I like that just everything seems really well thought out to have a specific impact. Every little detail, every single decision has a very specific impact to it so far as what I'm learning. So very cool. That's very cool. Well, awesome, dude. Thanks again. Yeah, everybody reach out if you guys want to send anything over to Jimmy and I. We can reach out to Marc as well. Get you guys some answers. If you guys want to call us, leave us a voicemail. Maybe we'll get Marc back online if we get enough voicemails together, and he can answer some of you guys' questions. That's 916-345-4744. And yeah, I think that's about it, huh?
I'm good.
Sweet. Well, I guess without further ado, Marc, awesome chatting with you. Have a great rest of your day, and maybe we'll get you back online after the contest and see how everything went.
Let's do that. Let's get some teams from California next year. How about that?
There you go.
I'll drive one out there for you. All right, man. Thanks again, buddy. Oh, final words.
I was waiting.
Oh man, I almost messed that one up. Well, so I like to put people on the spot. I just put myself on the spot. So we'll ask Jimmy first. He's used to this, but it can be anything. Final words to kind of wrap up the episode. It could be, I don't know, some words of wisdom. Could be what you had last night for dinner. Whatever you want to leave everybody with. Jimmy, what do you got to say for everybody?
Well, first off, I want to say thanks for joining us. This was a lot of fun. It sounds like a phenomenal challenge, event, whatever you want to call the whole of the thing. It sounds like a lot of fun, but I looked it up. It was Naples, Florida, where I drove all the way down to Naples. That was the European city I was trying to think of.
That's the rich people live down there.
Perfect. Marc, final words to leave everybody with today?
As a new dad, I'm just going to say businesses, you're very appreciative when you have changing stations in your bathroom.
Yes. That was, we went through that.
Yeah, like
I'm getting out more and more right now with my 4-month-old. And I am like just walking in like, please have one, please have one.
Yeah.
So I wish it was a law. I heard it's a federal law, but I wish more businesses would do it. I'm very appreciative to those who do. I know last minute thought, that's just been on my mind. So thank you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that. And I mean, we started saying we can't go to places because they don't have changing stations. And surprisingly, In-N-Out does not have changing stations. We'd stopped going to In-N-Out when the kid was born. But, and then a lot of changing stations are only available in the women's bathroom.
Correct.
So it's, yeah. Anyways.
I got that changed at my local Jeep dealership that I buy all my parts from when I went there the other day on my off day to pick up parts. And I said, I'm gonna call the GM that I'm friends with. He's going to have to get that fixed for me.
Nice. Very cool. Thanks again, Marc, for sitting down, bud. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And don't forget, everybody out there, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
Okay.
What did the police officer say to his belly button?
I don't know. Get out of here?
You're under a vest.
Yeah. Okay. James, I don't know what to do with you.